Today I'm going to show you my hi-fi system that I've put together over quite a few years that is composed of many different components that all collectively contribute to me having an audiophile experience in this room. But before we jump into that, let me show you something pretty interesting. I've just taken delivery of an album, the re-release of an album that came out back in 2009. It was a progressive rock record by the English progressive rock band whose frontman was from or is from Hemel Hempstead, which is I think part of London in the UK. I'll give you a second to guess as to what it might be. It is not Songs from the Wood by Jethro Tull. This is, and as we know, Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull is from Scotland. This is The Incidents by Porcupine Tree, whose frontman is Steven Wilson. And ever since the release of this album, he's been pursuing a solo career. So after they released The Incident back in 2009, he put the band on an indefinite hiatus, and ever since he's been pursuing a solo career. And I think that pretty much the band has come to an end. And his excuse for disbanding Porcupine Tree was that he pretty much had nothing more to explore, in that context of Porcupine Tree. It's a great record that came out in 2009. I think it was the first time that, Porcupine Tree as a band succeeded at making a musical continuum that would have a pretty unique and interesting conceptual scope. And I remember when I attended the concert, the first leg of the concert, which took place just a few weeks after the release of the album in the States. They put out a pretty nice show actually at the Warfield Theater. I think it was the first, might have been the second. I think the first one was in Seattle, but I might be wrong. So it was a beautiful concert they put out at the Warfield Theater in San Francisco. And before the concert, I had conversations with a lot of Porcupine Tree, kind of diehard Porcupine Tree fans, and a lot of them kind of, confirmed my opinion about the album, that it's a concept album pretty much in the same caliber as the likes of Thick as a Brick and Dark Side of the Moon or Animals, and really put Porcupine Tree in the center of the progressive rock map as a band that had the ability to basically produce a concept album that would have the same effect as those the ones by Pink Floyd and Jethro Tull and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, King Crimson, Gentle Giant, and all those other great bands of the 70s, particularly progressive rock bands. Unfortunately, this was pretty much the end for the band, and since the release of the album, the band came to an end. It's a beautiful presentation. It's two vinyls, and of course, this is in line with the way the album was released back in 2010. It was 2009. It was two CDs. The first CD pretty much was the musical continuum from beginning to the end, pretty much the Incident album, and the second side was more of materials that were put together via the contribution of all the band members. I think the second CD was were the songs pretty much that were more democratically written, without Steven Wilson driving the ship, riding the ship forward. It was I think the contributions from other band members were pretty much welcomed in terms of melody and songwriting and lyrics and so on and so forth. And both CDs are great. I mean, of course my preference goes for the first CD, but the materials in the second CD are pretty interesting to listen to as well. They're kind of more aggressive, kind of more metal, more masculine, but the first CD is of course is really a masterpiece. And I've noticed in a few interviews that Steven Wilson has been a little bit dismissive about The Incident, but to me it's a great album, and if you were to ask me, I think this is the best album they ever put out, and this is just my opinion. I mean, a lot of people say, In Absentia is probably the greatest work that they ever put out, but this is just my opinion, not some indisputable, incontrovertible fact. I just think that the Incident is the best album they ever put out, and even to this day, I think this is the probably the best artistic statement made by Steven Wilson that has that sort of conceptual denominator kind of driving the music forward. So after this, by the way, this is a beautiful album cover. I think they probably used the camera lens with a pretty wide aperture, so they could have the the fingers in focus and have the face kind of blurred out, and that might be Steven Wilson, or I think that's him. Yeah, great album cover, interesting music, and something that I'm gonna go and listen to actually maybe as early as tomorrow. Now, I already own the album on CD. I have access to it on streaming services. Tidal. I prefer to listen to vinyl when I listen to this particular album because it's something that has to be listened to in its entirety in one go. You take the album out of its cover, you put it on the turntable, and you just sit back and enjoy the music without any form of distraction. And this takes me to the point to really define who an audiophile is and what distinguishes an audiophile from a casual listener. So an audiophile to me is someone who listens to music very attentively without being distracted by the most common means of distraction these days, which is gaining access to physical media or having access to social media 24/7, having access to YouTube videos, and these days a lot of people are just sort of obsessed with prank videos and on YouTube that just don't mean anything, or there's another platform that's similar to YouTube. I've forgotten the name, or I should say Instagram. Anyways, it's something that people use a lot actually these days. And anyways, the name escapes me. It's pretty similar to Instagram. People put on the stories and videos, and people can spend hours and hours and hours on end every day just listening to or watching the materials and absorbing the materials. And a lot of it is to me is just complete nonsense. I'm not interested in that. So an audiophile is someone who takes music very seriously and likes to listen to music very attentively and doesn't want to be distracted. So the second thing I want to talk about is an audiophile or HiFi system. It's just a system that's made of maybe different components that actually has a purpose. And its purpose is to facilitate that act of listening to music attentively. And it's not some pretentious sort of condescending term that people put out to demonstrate the superiority of their system or their equipment over someone else's. Because no matter how good an audiophile or hi-fi system is, a better one can always be imagined. Imagine somebody who's got access to a pair of speakers that may be worth, $20,000. There might be someone who just won the lottery and they have access to a pair of speakers that can cost like $1 million. And to a lot of those, you can apply the law of diminishing return, of course. So, a hi-fi audiophile system is not something that has to be expensive. So price is not the determining factor as to how good your system sounds. Now, I've noticed that some people have the capability of just looking at an audiophile system over the virtual platform, YouTube, Facebook, and just tell you exactly how your system might sound and whether it rises to the dignity of being considered an audiophile system or not. Now, I don't have that special talent, nor do I think that anybody else has. So the only way to judge the quality of an audiophile system is to just go and listen to the music in the same room in which the system is placed. And the room also plays a pretty important role and can determine whether your experience of listening to music can be immersive enough or can be engaging or involving enough. So without further ado, let me show you my audiophile system. Now, the first thing I want to show you, which is really the main brain, if you will, of the system, is this receiver amplifier by Pioneer. This belongs to their 900 series. The model number is not that important. This is a component that came out probably in the late 90s and early 2000s, and is made of very high quality components. Its build quality is just beyond reproach. It's a very well made product. It's built like a tank, except the front plate. There's just overuse of plastic, I think, was incorporated into the construction. So the front plate is sort of kind of falling apart, but the rest of the unit is very well maintained and has really stood the test of time. Now, it sounds pretty good. I only use this for symmetrical 2-channel stereo listening. I don't take advantage of its 5.1 surround prowess or its DTS decoding capabilities. That's more for like a movie theater kind of experience. So I don't use it actually in that context. I only use it for 2-channel stereo listening, and I've had a great time actually listening to this particular unit, and I derive a lot of joy and pleasure out of it. Now, I gotta tell you that there's a difference between a receiver amplifier and also an integrated amplifier, and I kind of disagree with people who say that, well, a receiver amplifier is just an integrated amplifier, but it's just got a built-in tuner. Although that's true, but that doesn't tell you the whole story. Now, these days, or in like modern times, a receiver amplifier is both a video and audio decoding unit, and is designed to kind of maximize your joy out of watching videos and listening to music, or watching movies with great immersive sound experience. If you were to pay for these products brand new, I believe half of what you're paying for is for the video capability of the units, and the other half probably is for the audio capabilities and the DAC and so on and so forth, if they have one built in. But an integrated amplifier is something that is really dedicated is a dedicated product, audio product, to give you the best audio quality experience. And I think that's really the defining line between the two. And if I were to purchase a component brand new, I would definitely gravitate towards an integrated amplifier. You can also do separates. You can get an amplifier, and you can get a preamplifier with the sound processor, and that's something that could give you a modular system, and you can swap things in and out. You can if you have access to someone who specializes in kind of used products, you can actually get some pretty high quality components for very little, and maybe switch out your sound processors and get a different one, and the same with your amplifier. But my preference goes with an integrated amplifier. In this instance, I only had access to a receiver amplifier, and I pretty much got this unit for next to nothing. There was a gentleman who had a Blu-ray, Pioneer Blu-ray player for sale, back in, I believe, 2013-14. And so I purchased that for, I think, $50. And he said, well, I've got this receiver amplifier by Pioneer. I got no use for it, and it's something that just tends to overheat. Would you be interested in this? And I said, oh yeah, I'll take it. So I took it and brought it home and tested it. I noticed that the reason that it kind of gets a little hot is because it's a pretty powerful unit. It outputs 100 watts per channel, which is pretty good for like a medium-sized room. It's actually excellent. There's no shortage of power out of this strong unit. But it's a great unit. I didn't pay any money for it, and so pretty much got it for free, and has served me well over the years. So I'm very happy with it. So it sounds excellent. it's got a built-in DAC, a digital to analog converter, but unless the signal is of 5.1 nature, you won't be able to take advantage of its built-in DAC capabilities. So I don't know, it's designed in such a way that can only decode music or can only convert a digital signal to analog if it's of 5.1 nature. Otherwise, it won't work. So, and I tried it actually a couple times in a 5.1 surround setting, and I didn't see that big of an improvement in sound quality compared to a DAC that's built into a CD player, a good quality CD player, or a DVD player, or even a Blu-ray player. So it's probably best just to bypass some of these built-in DACs that were made back in the like late 90s or early 2000. So let me show you the DAC that I have connected to my Pioneer receiver amplifier. It's a DAC that's made by Arcam, an English company. I believe this product is made in the UK. There's no indication as to the country of origin or where it was made, but because the fact that it's got pretty nice build quality. It's built almost like a tank, and it's made out of metal, and it feels pretty heavy, and it's got weight to it, and it's just a beautiful product, and I take a lot of pride and joy in owning this particular unit. And it's a rare thing, actually. I've looked online, and you can't actually find this DAC, and and I haven't been able to find it on eBay or any other website for purchase. So it's a great sounding unit. It really surpasses the built-in DAC. If I were to use it in the context of 5.1 surround, it really surpasses the one that's built into the unit. And it, to some extent, it does, I think, overcome the DAC that is in, Sheet Morai or Shet Morai 3. I think it sounds a little better. The sound is kind of more full-bodied, in terms of finesse, and like the sound quality, the bass response I get out of my speakers when I listen to music through this particular DAC is a little bit better. So overall, it's a great product, and if you can get your hands on on one of these, I definitely recommend it. Now, the price I paid for this was less than $100, and it's just kind of madness. Back in the 2010, I think, when it first came out, or even prior to that, this is something that would have costed you close to $600-700, and the fact that you can get these products these days for less than $100 is just crazy. So that's one thing I want to get to, because the components I have in my HiFi system, they've all been acquired in the used market, Facebook market, Craigslist, and I also have a friend in Sacramento Valley, where I live, who's got access to all kinds of HiFi components, and the audio products, And he's someone who's got the ability to kind of service them and fixes them and puts them up for sale. And he offers me excellent prices. And I've acquired quite a few of these components through him. So this unit, he actually had access to it and said, well, would you be interested? And so I got this for an excellent price, and I'm pretty happy with it. So the other DAC that I use is the one by Topping. I think it's a Topping E30. I get this product from the same person that I got the Arcam DAC from, and I paid less than $50 for this. And this, I have it connected to my Yamaha streamer. It's a beautiful unit. The only downside with this Yamaha streamer is the software experience. The first time when you use it and you try to set it up, it can be a little glitchy, but you can overcome it. If you're tech savvy, you can probably figure it out. But after that, it's actually a good experience, but still it doesn't surpass the capabilities of the Google Chromecast. To me, or I should say the Google Audio Chromecast Audio, I should say. And I think that's probably one of the forgotten jewels of the kind of audiophile community, because it's something that could have been had back in 2017 for as little as $15. I remember at Fry's Electronics, which unfortunately just went out of business like a few months ago. Back in 2017, they were just literally throwing them out. They were selling it for $15, and my cousin actually got a unit, and he persuaded me to get one. I was kind of dismissive about it, didn't get it. And then just a couple of years ago, I realized, how excellent it can be and has the potential to be, give me the best streaming experience. And I finally got my hands on one. I paid, of course, almost like 3 times as much as what I would have paid back in 2017, but still worth the price. So I have it as part of a system. I have it in the living room. I made another video on that actually as part of the NAD audiophile unit that is connected to the Chromecast, and the Chromecast is connected to the Schiit Morai 3, and it's a great sounding system. So yeah, I got sidetracked with the Google Chromecast, but this Yamaha unit actually is a great sounding unit, but the software experience is not that great, and so it's pretty limited in the software department. You can't cast music through certain services. I use Tidal, so it does facilitate, the Tidal, listening through Tidal, and I'm kind of pleased about that. But other than that, you can't do a whole lot with it. So the other unit I want to tell you about is basically my CD player. This is what is referred to as a jukebox CD player, which sounds like a bit of a condescending term actually to be ascribed to this unit, because it's how excellent it is. It's part of the Pioneer Elite audio components, audiophile systems, and it's a great sounding CD player. Now the built-in DAC is okay, it's usable, but I still have it connected to the Arcam, and Arcam actually does sound a little bit better than the built-in DAC. But if you didn't have access to an external DAC, you'd still be pretty pleased with the DAC that's built into this unit. So it's an excellent unit, and you can fit in close to 300 CDs in there, and you don't have to worry about scratching your CDs. One of the biggest problems I've had with playing CDs is that every time you take the CD out of its box, there's a chance that you might scratch it, or you might get fingerprints on the CD, and you can get scratches when you try to wipe it off. Somehow you get scratches on CDs by just even taking it out of the box. So you got to be careful with them. The best way to kind of preserve the life of a CD and protect them as much as possible is to put them in the same units that you use for playing the CDs. And this jukebox does an excellent job at storing my CDs pretty well, so I'm pretty happy about it. Yeah, it's a great sounding piece. Of course, you can go out and spend thousands of dollars on CD players. Luxman, I think, just came out a few months ago with an SACD player that's costing close to $16,000-$17,000, and that's well, I mean, so SACD is DST is direct is DST direct something digital, direct stream digital, and so to take advantage of like DST audio quality, I think that your system has to be transparent enough, or has to be, I think, I don't want to say audiophile enough, but has to be at a certain level before you can take advantage of, the SACD playing capabilities, or to be able to discern the sound quality that you would get from a normal CD than the one you would get from SACD. And my system, I don't think it's there. I have limitations, maybe in the amplification and the speaker department. So I'm kind of limited in that respect. And I think that might be a reason as to why I can't take advantage, full advantage of SACD, great sounding capabilities. There are people who swear that they can actually tell the difference subjectively and objectively when they listen to SACD versus just a normal CD. I haven't experienced any difference, and I think it might be a limitation of the components, and so that's something that I can work on in the future and see if I can finally take advantage of the sound quality, inherent sound quality in SACDs. But theoretically speaking, they should sound better than normal CDs because of the higher bit rates and the way that the music is recorded, and the way that the music is conveyed to the listener. The next component I want to show you is this cassette player, the tape deck, and for this unit, I think I paid close to maybe $20. There was a gentleman who was moving out of the state, and he put an ad on Craigslist, and I think he initially was asking for like $80, and then I kind of negotiated the price, and he said, oh, you can just come and take it for $20. So I was pretty happy about that. And it's an excellent JVC cassette player. And what's nice about this particular unit is that it gives you the ability to switch between different types of tapes. If you have access to metal tapes, you can switch your tape accordingly, and choose your sound according to the quality of the medium. So the metal tape is probably the best sounding tape out there. Then you have I think ferro, and you have chrome, and those are, I think, pretty much equal in terms of sound quality. But it's nice that you have access to metal tapes, although I don't own any metal tape. And to be able to listen to metal tapes, I probably have to record something onto the tape and then listen to it. That kind of like defeats the purpose of having a cassette player, because I can get the same sound quality out of a CD player. So it's more like a romantic, poetic experience for me to listen to cassettes. I do have access to some original tapes that were released back in the 70s and 80s. And for me, it's something that sort of evokes a sense of nostalgia, because I grew up listening to cassettes. The reason that I'm an audiophile today and listen to music very attentively, and I take music very seriously, is because back when I was in my teenage years, I think I was maybe 12 years of age, when I discovered my uncle's cassette library, cassette collection at his basement. And he would take me there, and he would play me music through his HiFi system. It was a beautiful tape deck by Sony, and beautiful speakers and nice receiver amplifier. Or I should say, it was probably just an integrated amplifier, and just a great system. And I remember there was one time he played me the album Discovery by the Electric Light Orchestra, and that was when I just fell in love with music. He used to play me Bee Gees. He played me some Jethro Tull, played me some Pink Floyd. And, those formative years, actually, when I was growing up, played an important role in enabling me to really gain access to this world of hi-fi and really appreciate the music for what it really is. So for me, cassette for me is always something that I enjoy listening to, and to me it's more like like a personal connection I have with cassettes. So yeah, it's a great sounding cassette deck, and I'm very happy to own it. Now, the next thing I want to show you is my turntable, which is a Denon fully automatic direct drive turntable. There are some people who prefer the belt drive turntables, and I think they're both great. This probably isn't considered a hi-fi component because the way it's constructed is mostly made out of plastic, and it's fully automatic. A lot of audiophiles tend to frown upon fully automatic record players or turntables, and they much prefer the more kind of tactile, tangible experience. And they take the tone arm and they put the cartridge directly over the record and they play it. That's also perfect if you enjoy listening to music that way and you want to be involved in the whole process. For me, it's just less hassle. I can just push a button and I can sit back and enjoy the music. It's actually a great sounding unit. It's equipped with a Shure cartridge that sounds pretty good. Of course, I can improve upon this and gain access to maybe a better cartridge, and that might be something I might consider to do later in the future. But one thing I got to tell you is that when I had this turntable directly connected to my receiver amplifier, I didn't get very good sound quality out of it. And the sound was, it didn't have a whole lot of, how do I put it? It didn't give me an audiophile experience. The sound was kind of muffled, and the mid-range and the treble were sort of, kind of harsh sounding. And the bass response wasn't that great. So I decided to go for an external preamplifier and have it connected to my turntable, and then have that connected to one of the channels in my receiver amplifier. And I did that. I got access to this unit. Actually, it's a beautifully designed and well-made unit by Project. It's an Austrian company. The unit is made in Slovakia. And it's a great sounding unit, and it really transformed the sound that I get out of vinyls. And the day that I actually got it installed, I went and listened to maybe 4 albums, I think, in a row, and I was really pleased about that. So it's one of the best purchases I've made. Now, when I said to you that all the components were acquired in the used market, I lied. I mean, this was the only unit that I bought actually brand new. And it's something that frequently goes on sale for $99, and I think it sells regularly for like $120, $140. So I was able to get it for 99 bucks, and it's probably one of the best 99 bucks I've ever spent in my lifetime, because it really transformed my record listening experience. So yeah, kudos to Project out of Austria for really building and designing an affordable unit that has this transformative, that gives the listeners this transformative experience. So the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is this Sony CD/DVD player. And sometimes, we audiophiles sort of fall in love with the looks of a unit and how it functions. And this unit actually is just a beautifully designed CD player. And the way the faceplate opens and you put a CD in there, and then when the faceplate actually opens, it reveals some more functionalities in the system. And then when it closes and the CD kind of recedes back in the drawer, I don't know, there's something kind of magical about that. And the CD drive actually just kind of glides in and out, and that just watching that just gives me a lot of pleasure. So, and it's a great sounding CD player. Now the built-in DAC isn't very good. It's old technology, and the other day I was listening to Dark Side of the Moon, and just the sound quality just wasn't there. So then I had it connected to the Arcam DAC. The sound got transformed just immediately. So DACs do make a difference. And this notion that it's only the chip that is the most contributing factor to the sound quality, I think is flawed. I think it's the whole thing, it's the whole construction, it's the power supply, of course the DAC chip, as well as the analog output. All of that, I think they contribute to good sound quality. And it's not just the chip. And Arcam has all of those kind of checked off, and it's a great sounding unit. So yeah, this is a very nice CD player, excellent construction, something that maybe back in I think 20 years ago when it came out, you would have probably paid close to $1,000. I got this for less than $50. So on the whole system, I think I probably spent less than $500 to acquire all these interesting and great components, and they all have nice histories behind them. And And getting audio components like this kind of encourages you to kind of go out there and explore the world, talk with people, have conversations with them, as opposed to just sitting in your room and, virtually have virtual connection with the world and just order everything on Amazon and have it come to your front door and just open the door and take the product in and set it up. That's something that, might please a lot of people. It doesn't please me. I think we as human beings are meant to interact with one another. And, the audiophile community is something that can be conducive to that, and, can, kind of encourage people to go and have conversations with each other and, compare notes and, tell each other stories about their hi-fi experiences. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is the pair of speakers I have. These are the Pioneer speakers designed by Andrew Jones. Good sounding speakers. They're kind of warm sounding. They're kind of biased towards the bass response. They're kind of fine-tuned, I believe, to give you, like a pretty good, pretty nice bass response. The mid-range is okay. It's not that detailed. The treble, that's, when problems kind of start to arise, because I listen to a lot of classical music, and having access to a pair of speakers that can output excellent, mid-range and treble signals is imperative. And in my experience, the treble response, isn't very that detailed, isn't very crisp, but the mid-range and the bass are pretty good. The bass is excellent. The mid-range is pretty good sounding, but the treble is, basically just a deficiency of this pair of speakers. Now, kudos to Pioneer for Andrew Jones in particular for producing a unit that was extremely affordable back when it first came out. I think it's a product that's been discontinued. Andrew Jones, I believe, is collaborating with ELAC these days and is designing excellent speakers for ELAC. But as an engineer, they have to work towards a price point, and they have to make compromises. And I think that was a compromise to make to give you an excellent bass response, to give you like a nice full immersive experience when you listen to music. The mid-range is okay, but as I said, the treble is when it's got some problems, and that's something I'm kind of looking forward to improve upon, because I listen to a lot of classical music. I want to get the best treble and kind of mid-range response as possible. I noticed the KEF Q50 goes on sale every once in a while for $300. It's something that I'm considering, and hopefully if I can get it in the used market, even better, so I can go interact with someone else and see how they set it up in the room and what kind of sound quality they got out of them. So, which brings me to this point. The last and final point is the difference between continually improving your audiophile system versus continuously improving it. And there's a difference between the two, and we have to make this distinction, because continually improving your system means that, like in my case, so I identified the deficiency of my system. That's probably the speakers and the treble and the mid-range response. And if I improve upon that, I'll be pretty pleased with my system for quite a while. And and then it's something that I will use and derive a lot of pleasure from, listen to a lot of music. And maybe in 4 or 5 years from now, I might notice that, well, my receiver amplifier is not holding up, is not really standing the test of time anymore, and so maybe I can improve my system a little bit more just by replacing my receiver amplifier. So it's a thoughtful process that you kind of embark upon, and it's something that's contrived. You don't just go out and blindly, spending money, splurging on audiophile components and products without any prior planning. And I think that's the latter. That's continuously improving your system and just going out, buying components just for the sake of it. And I don't think it's a noble reason for becoming an audiophile, because it's something that's kind of conducive or kind of promotes the state of kind of consumerism and hedonism to some extent, and I think it's best if we kind of stop that, because a lot of times people who just go out and buy these products, they use credit cards and put themselves in debt, and you just don't want to do that. You don't want to put yourself under a lot of pressure, and just like take out loans and buy expensive these elaborate audiophile products that might cost you thousands of dollars and you can't afford them. So it's best to, when you first start, to be as budget conscious as possible, to spend your money wisely, and and then maybe later you might identify some problems with your system, and then you can improve upon that, you can rectify that. But just never go out and buy things just for the sake of it, and it just doesn't apply to HiFi or audiophile system. Pretty much applies to anything in life. Thank you very much for watching my video, and if you haven't done so, please do subscribe to the channel. And if what I said to you, if you can relate to what I said, in this video in any ways, just hit the like button. And I'll see you on the next video. Yeah. Take care. Bye.